listening to the Spirit Podcast.
For 40 days or even more, the line went slack and tight once more. The boats were lost, there were only four, still that whale did go. Soon may the weatherman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. As far as I've heard, the flight's still on, the line's not cut and the whale's not gone. The weatherman makes his regular call, turn chorus, captain, crew and all. Soon may the weatherman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go.
Welcome, listeners, to the Spirit, the podcast where we dive into the mysterious, the metaphysical, and downright mind-bending. I'm Beck, your guide for today's journey, and joining me, as always, is the ever-awesome Rachel. Hey, Rach.
Hello, hello.
How you doing today, Rach?
I'm feeling great. How you doing?
I think I might have to rename Emmett again to Emmy Lou Long Legs. Yeah, I think that's his spirit name, his Native American name.
Isn't that the name of that horror movie?
Oh, yeah.
That came out with Nicolas Cage.
Oh, man, maybe I'm going to have to change it. It was either Fluffy Bunny Feet or Long Legs.
You know, everyone talked to you got to see Long Legs. It's so crazy, blah, blah, blah. And then I see clips of what he looks like. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Did you watch it?
No.
Me neither. I know everyone did say, oh, you have to go see it. And I felt like I was possessed when I walked out of there. And I'm like, maybe I don't want to see that. I don't know.
I thought Long Legs was going to be some crazy, I don't know, spider creature or something like Daddy Long Legs. I guess that's what I was thinking of. And then when I just see it's like weird looking Nick Cage, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Like a spider creature, which actually could lead into what we're going to be talking about today. Because spiders remind me of crab for some reason. I feel like crabs are the spiders of the sea.
Yeah, they're bugs.
Yeah,
they're water bugs.
Yeah, they're kind of gross. I don't eat crab. They kind of freak me out. I'm not a fan.
It was a prison food.
I think it was that and lobster.
Lobster.
Now look at it. It's like $250 for 2 lobster rolls.
Outrageous.
Rach, if you were a mythical sea creature, what would you be and why?
Ooh, I would have to be a siren.
Oh.
Yes.
That's good, yeah.
Singing the men.
The sailors,
to their
drumming.
fate.
Would you rather explore the deep ocean or outer space?
The deep ocean.
See, they both scare me. Both don't have oxygen. It just freaks me out. I have this thing with suffocating, drowning.
My physical body, I don't think I'd want to go to either of them.
No.
But if I could
Explore?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I could figure out how to astral project down there.
If I could astral project, I'd do both.
Yeah.
What's the
For sure.
creepiest ocean fact you've ever heard?
I think just the fact that so much of the ocean is unexplored. We have no idea what is going on in them oceans. And that is why I will never go on a cruise. Ever.
There's many reasons I won't go on a cruise.
Yeah. There's a million reasons why I wouldn't go on a cruise. But people are just like, yeah, put me out in the middle of the ocean.
Right.
Who knows what the hell's living underneath me? It could just swallow me up.
Well, isn't it amazing when you think about back in the day how transportation was before planes? They had to get on those little ships. Not even these giant monster ships that they build that are like floating cities. These are like, are we going to make it to our destination ships?
Yeah, even like the friggin' pilgrims going over to a different land. They didn't have GPS. They just went by the stars on these giant wooden ships, and they didn't even know where they're going with no technology. That is terrifying. And, half of them would die through storms and disease.
Since we're talking about ships, let's kick this off with one of the most enduring maritime stories of all time, the Mary Celeste. This is the granddaddy of ghost ship legends. And honestly, if ships could win an award for being creepy, this one would take home the prize.
The Mary Celeste is very creepy.
Picture this. It's December 5th, 1872. The British brig, oh my gosh, if I can say this, De Gracia. Yeah,
gracious.
that. It's sailing across the Atlantic when its crew spots a ship adrift in the open ocean. The ship is identified as the Mary Celeste. And here's where it gets weird. It's completely abandoned. No crew, no captain, no sign of life at all. The Mary Celeste had left New York City just a month earlier, bound for Genoa, Italy. On board were Captain Benjamin Briggs, his wife Sarah, and their 2-year-old daughter, Sophia, and a crew of 7 experienced sailors. When the De Gracia's crew boarded the ship, they found it eerily intact. There was 6 months' worth of food and water, personal belongings were undisturbed, and the cargo, which was 1,701 barrels of industrial alcohol, was mostly untouched. The only clues were a few unsettling details. The ship's lifeboat was missing. The ship's log ended abruptly 10 days before its discovery, and some of the ship's sails were damaged, and the rigging was slightly disheveled, but nothing that screamed emergency. But here's the real kicker. There were no signs of violence or piracy. It was as if everybody on board simply vanished into thin air. Some think it was a natural disaster, maybe a waterspout or a rogue wave. Yeah, those rogue waves, man, that scared the crew into abandoning ship. Others speculate about foul play, but there's no evidence to back it up. Then, of course, there's the supernatural explanations, alien abductions, sea monsters, or perhaps the crew fell victim to a curse. One of my favorite theories, and by favorite, I mean absolutely bonkers, is that the fumes from the alcohol cargo caused a small explosion, leading the crew to think the ship was about to go up in flames. In their panic, they might have launched the lifeboat and drifted away, only to be never seen again. To this day, the fate of Mary Celeste remains one of the ocean's most haunting mysteries, and honestly, the lack of definitive answer is what makes it so spine-tingling.
What's cool, too, about Mary Celeste, that it inspired numerous stories and books. It was also the basis for the movie The Mystery of the Mary Celeste, 1935, also called Phantom Ship, starring Bela Lugosi, and Haunting of the Mary Celeste in 2000, and The True Story of the Mary Celeste in 2007.
Did you see?
I want to watch the one with Bela Lugosi.
Bela
Do you
Lugosi.
think aliens could have gotten them?
That was one of the theories. Look at all the things that are coming out of the ocean right now. The government came right out and said they're living under the ocean. So that'd be the perfect place to abduct people.
The fact that the ship was so intact and the booze wasn't gone.
Right.
Where did they go?
That is the question.
So this ship is more of a spectral ship. I'm sure you've heard of it, the Flying Dutchman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it is a legendary ghost ship.
Wasn't that in the Pirates of the Caribbean or something like that?
Yes.
Okay.
With, what's his name?
Johnny Depp?
Oh, of course, Johnny Depp. But the character, Davy Jones.
Oh, David Jones.
Davy
Okay.
Jones. He was awesome.
Flying Dutchman. That's right.
Yeah. So according to Wikipedia, the legendary ghost ship allegedly never was able to make port, but doomed to sail the sea forever. The myths and ghost stories are likely to have originated from the 17th century golden age of Dutch East India Company and the Dutch maritime power. The oldest known extant version of the legend dates from the late 18th century. According to the legend, if hailed by another ship, the crew of the Flying Dutchman might try to send messages to land or to people long dead. Reported sightings in the 19th and 20th centuries claimed that if the ship glowed with a ghostly light, in the ocean lore, the sight of this phantom ship functions as a portent of doom. It was commonly believed that the Flying Dutchman was a 17th century cargo vessel known as the Fleut.
The Fleut?
Fleut.
Okay.
Fluyt.
I like the name, the Flying Dutchman.
Yeah, I do too.
Well, if the Mary Celeste and the Flying Dutchman were poster children for ghost ships, the SS Bechimo, its cold Arctic cousin, is up here now. This ship didn't just vanish once. It kept coming back like a ghost that refused to stay in its grave. The SS Bechimo was a steel-hulled cargo ship launched in 1914. Originally built for the Hudson's Bay Company, it was used to transport goods and furs along Canada's treacherous northern coastline. For years, it braved the Arctic ice, but in October 1931, its luck ran out. The ship became trapped in pack ice off the coast of Alaska near Barrow. The crew abandoned the vessel temporarily, setting up camp nearby to wait for the ice to release its grip. When a severe storm hit a few days later, the ship broke free and then just drifted off. The crew eventually recovered it, but this wasn't the end of the story. Far from it. The ice trapped the Beechimo again just weeks later. This time the crew realized they couldn't keep chasing it forever. They salvaged the cargo, abandoned the ship for good, and assumed it would eventually sink, but the Beechimo had other plans. Over the next few decades, the ghostly vessel was drifting aimlessly through the Arctic waters. Here's where things get eerie. Despite being battered by the storms and encased in ice year after year, the Beechimo refused to sink. It became an Arctic legend, a true phantom ship appearing out of nowhere and vanishing just as quickly. In some accounts, people even managed to board the ship, finding it eerily preserved but completely deserted. Others reported seeing it from a distance, almost like an apparition. It became a floating enigma, a ship with no crew, no destination, carried only by the whims of the icy currents. The last confirmed sighting of the Beechimo was in 1969, nearly 40 years after it was abandoned. It was spotted frozen in an ice pack, but no one could get close enough to investigate. After that, the ship disappeared into the Arctic wilderness, leaving only behind tales of its ghostly wanderings. What makes the story of Beechimo so fascinating is that it's not just a ghost story, it's a testament to the unforgiving power of nature and the mysteries of the sea. The ship could still be out there somewhere hidden beneath the ice or drifting in the frigid waters. And honestly, I think that's just the perfect blend of creepy and cool. It's a ship that refuses to die, carrying the whispers of its past through the frozen silence of the Arctic.
I think that's pretty cool. No pun intended.
Freezing cool.
This is pretty interesting because this is connected to a dream that I had, and I had no knowledge of this before. So
Okay.
definitely got a story behind this ship. A few years back, I had a dream that I was in line with people who had to go in to this boat, and they had to give their fingernails, and everyone was terrified about it.
What?
Yeah.
Fingernails?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean, like the whole nail or just clippings?
No, like you had to get your fingernails pulled off
Oh,
when you entered the ship.
this is a really weird dream. Okay. All
yeah.
right.
And there was people around that I knew, and everyone was terrified. And I just observed it. And then I went into the ship, and I wasn't scared. I said, here, take my nails.
Oh, my Lord.
There was this, I don't know, like a tribal elder that was on the boat. And once he knew that I wasn't scared to give him my nails, he just had me look out the window, and he's like, what do you see? And I'm looking out. All of a sudden, like, we're on water. I see a cloud shaped like an angel. It was a very interesting experience. So then I did a little research on ships and fingernails,
Uh-huh.
and I came across the Naglfar.
The Naglfar?
Yeah, so I looked it up, and, according to Wikipedia, in Norse mythology, the Naglfar is a boat made entirely from fingernails and toenails of the dead.
What?
Yeah, this is Norse mythology. During the events of Ragnarok, Naglfar is foretold to sail to, I don't know, I'm going to butcher this,
Just go for it. I mean, we're butchering all of them.
Vigor, ferrying hordes of monsters that will do battle with the gods. Naglfar is attested in the Poetic Edda, compiled in the 13th century from earlier traditional sources, and the Prose Edda, also composed in the 13th century. The boat itself has been connected by scholars with larger patterns of ritual hair and nail disposing among the Indo-Europeans, stemming from Proto-Indo-European custom, and it may be depicted on the Tollstorp runestone in Scania, Sweden.
You might as well just be speaking another language.
But I had this dream that I'm in line and people are scared to give their nails to this man on the ship, and I'm not scared. And it's just crazy that the ship holds the nails of the dead. So I had like this whole the whole story behind it.
Well, this comes from something. Maybe you were tapping into that realm.
It was wild.
It is wild.
Yeah, blew my mind. So when I found that out, I was like, holy shit.
Actually, I've never heard of anything like that before. So thank you for that. Thanks for educating me in Norse mythology about fingernail boat.
Yeah, thanks, wild dreams
Yeah.
that take me to different realms.
I wouldn't want those dreams.
Oh, they're cool. They're fun.
I want to dive into one of the most unsettling ghost ship stories out there, and this was one of my favorites. It's the legend of the SS Ourang Medan, and I'm probably butchering that. The story is so strange, so utterly bizarre that it feels like a horror movie, and it actually should be a horror movie. I don't know why they haven't done this. The Ourang Medan was a Dutch freighter allegedly sailing through the waters of the Strait of Malacca in the 1940s. The ship's exact origin and purpose remained unclear, but what happened to its crew turned into one of the most infamous maritime mysteries. The story goes that a nearby vessel picked up a series of distress calls. The messages were fragmented, almost incoherent, but they painted chilling pictures.
All officers, including the captain, are dead. Lying in the chart room and bridge, possibly whole crew dead.
Then came the final transmission.
I die.
After that, silence. When a rescue team eventually located Ourang Medan, they found it adrift with no signs of life. But here's where things get terrifying. The entire crew was dead. Their bodies were sprawled across the decks in grotesque positions as though they had died in agony or sheer terror. Their faces were frozen with terror on it.
Oh my God.
Some accounts said, again, their faces were frozen in expressions of horror. Their arms were outstretched as if they were trying to ward off an unseen force.
Whoa.
Even the ship's dog, yes, there was a dog on board, was found dead, mid-growl, as if trying to defend itself from something.
Wow.
Now, the rescue team decided to tow the ship to port, but before they could, the Ourang Medan mysteriously caught fire and exploded, sinking into the depths. And yeah. So theories range from plausible to supernatural. Some speculate that the ship was smuggling hazardous materials like chemicals or nerve agents, which leaked out and then poisoned the crew. Others suggest carbon monoxide poisoning or even piracy, though there's no evidence really for violence. That makes that less likely. And then, of course, the supernatural explanations. Did they encounter something otherworldly at sea? Or could it have been some sort of mass hysteria amplified by isolation and fear?
Pissed off Poseidon.
I'm going to give a plug out to Mr. Ballin on YouTube because he tells this story masterfully and it is so gripping. It is one of my favorite stories he tells. The captain of the boat, when you get deep into the accounts, he tried to isolate these guys because some of them would start running and jumping off the side of the boat. He was like, whoa, I'm losing my crew here. Like, what the hell? And they were acting insane. Like they were seeing something, screaming horrifically. And it got to the point where the captain was even putting them in quarters and kind of locking them off so that they wouldn't jump and die and fly off the ship. So it was really good. If you get a chance to check that out, I would.
That sounds awesome. Well, you know, with all these ships and the things that they encounter, there's been one that has been in history for as long as I can remember, and it's always on maps. It's the sea serpent.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the Kraken.
No, but you know those long sea serpents, they draw them a lot in the maps, coming like in and out of the water.
Yeah.
According to Britannica, the sea serpent, mythological and legendary marine animal that traditionally resembles an enormous snake. The belief in huge creatures that inhabited the deep was widespread throughout the ancient world. In the Old Testament, there are several allusions to primordial combat between God and monstrous adversary, variously named Leviathan or Rahab. Although the references to Leviathan usually indicate a dragon-like creature, the name has also been used to denote a sea monster in general. Analogies to this combat are found throughout the ancient Middle East. Babylonian literature records a battle between the god Marduk and the multi-headed serpent dragon Tiamat. And in Hittite myth, the weather god, victorious over the dragon, these names, Alunakas, Similarly, a Canaanite poem from Ross Shamar.
Oh, Lord.
Ross?
Oh, Lord, guys, there's going to be
Shamra.
editing.
Yeah. From Ras Shamra in northern Syria records a battle between the god Baal and a monster called Leviathan. Okay. Jesus.
There's a movie called Leviathan.
Never seen it.
It's a good movie. It's an underwater creature, alien thing that basically wipes out a whole underwater crew. Pretty good. I recommend it. It's from the 80s, 90s, late 80s probably.
Do you think the sea serpents were real? Having it go back from ancient times?
I think everything that's legend had a root in reality. I do. I think vampires were real. People just didn't make these things up. And there's just too many accounts. There's too many stories that match up. So, yeah, I think it's real.
Hey, Spirit Seekers, enjoying the show? Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to the Spirit. Leave us a review on Apple or Spotify and share the love. We drop a new video every week on our YouTube channel covering paranormal, conspiracy, high strangeness, and more. Have questions or want to share your own spooky story? Drop us a line at tothespiritpod@gmail.com. Stay spirited.
In the frigid waters of the Southern Ocean, there's a cryptid shrouded in mystery. It's called the Ningen.
The Ningen?
Yeah. The Ningen's a cryptid and is sighted in the icy waters near Antarctica. Descriptions paint a picture of a massive humanoid aquatic creature.
Ooh.
It's a being that's as fascinating as terrifying. Eyewitnesses' account suggests the Ningen can reach an astonishing length of 20 to 30 meters. Imagine being so enormous that it rivals some of the largest marine animals. Its body is described as smooth and pale white, almost resembling human skin. And what really sets it apart are its humanoid features. Some say it has arm-like appendages that resemble hands, while others describe fin-like structures or even a mermaid-style tail. The facial features, well, they're minimal but eerie. Reports include mentions of small beady eyes and a slit-like mouth. The Ningen legend is tracked back to Japanese fishermen and researchers, with sightings reported during expeditions in Antarctic waters. Stories began circulating in online forums in the early 2000s, particularly on platforms dedicated to cryptozoology and then the unexplained. These accounts typically describe nighttime encounters where the creature is seen gliding silently beneath the waves or breaking the surface momentarily. The theories of what it could be, of course, they think it's a case of misidentified marine life, perhaps a giant ray or an undiscovered whale species or even chunks of ice, creating illusions in the dark, icy waters. But believers point out to the humanoid features, which are hard to explain away. Could it be an aquatic species, a relic of prehistoric times, or extraterrestrial is what I'm thinking. And what are you thinking?
Some kind of prehistoric shit.
Oh, you think it's prehistoric? I feel like it's ET, but who knows? I know one thing. The Southern Ocean is one of the least explored regions on Earth. It's frigid. The location makes it a perfect hiding spot for something unusual. And people, with their curiosity about the Ningen, we might see more efforts to uncover really what that is.
One popular sea creature that's been talked about for years and years is the mermaid.
Yeah. Mermaids aren't supposed to be good, are they? They're kind of supposed to be like evil, like the sirens.
I guess depending on
the mermaid. I mean, we're
yeah.
not talking like under the sea mermaid. I feel like they're kind of creepy creatures.
Yeah, and there's obviously no real evidence that mermaids exist. I've seen some pretty convincing YouTube videos.
I've seen some documentaries that look pretty damn convincing.
But there are some notable mermaid sightings in history. Back in 1943, Christopher Columbus claimed to have seen 3 mermaids off the coast of Hispaniola. However, it was more likely that he saw manatees, which I've heard a lot that people, manatees resemble mermaids.
Yeah.
But you never know.
Mm-hmm.
Henry Hudson in 1608, members of Hudson's crew claimed to see a mermaid in the Arctic Ocean. David Dannell In 1652, Daniel claimed to see a mermaid with flowing hair in Greenland. Japanese soldiers during World War II, Japanese soldiers in Indonesia claimed to have strange encounters with mermaids. I wonder what that means.
I know. I was hoping you'd elaborate a little bit on this strange encounters, meaning what exactly?
In 1998, Leisure claimed to have seen a nude woman swimming with dolphins off the coast of Kauai.
But how do we know that wasn't just a nude woman swimming with dolphins?
Right. Maybe it was so deep in the ocean that it didn't make sense.
I'll give them that.
And then in Kiryat Yam, Israel, 2009, locals claimed to see a mermaid off the shore at sunset. And then in Benguela, Scotland, in 1830, a woman claimed to see a child with a salmon-like tail splashing around in the sea.
A baby mermaid.
A little baby mermaid. Well, this is in Scotland, so a wee little lad, a little lad of a fish lad.
It's a little burn fish.
Yeah, I'm not good at Scottish accents.
Me neither. I think I did English. I apologize. Scottish is hard. But what about the guy on TikTok? He has been kind of documenting. He works on a ship. The footage he has is really compelling. He's got screams from them. There's something following on the side of the ship, and it seems to be for him, like when he goes out onto the deck. Have you seen this at all?
I don't think so.
It's pretty awesome. I feel like he even got a hold of some artifact and brought it into a museum, and it's not identifiable as like anything like a whalebone. Do you think mermaids are real?
Oh, for sure.
I do too. I think they're real. I just think there's a lack of compelling evidence. Although, like I said, TikTok.
You think Christopher Columbus really saw the mermaids?
I don't know. I feel like that could have been a manatee. I don't know. Who's to say? A lot of things are eyewitness accounts, and it's not like they had video cameras or cell phones.
And stuff was so unexplored
Yeah.
back then. So, you'd be a mermaid chilling, this ship just goes by, and you're like,
That would be the perfect time to be a mermaid and go, hey, what's that?
yeah.
Let's dive in now into one of the most magnetic. Here we go. Once a show, I got to do it.
Hey, at least you're not drunk.
Yeah, that's true, but I might as well be the way I talk sometimes. Let's dive into one of the most craziest sounds ever recorded from the depths of the ocean. A sound so strange, it's been named the bloop. If you're imagining like some giant sea creature with the voice of a foghorn, you're not too far off the mark, or at least that's what some people believe. I'm going to play a sound of the bloop here. These are underwater recordings from NOAA, which is the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. I'm going to play it, and then I'll give you the setup. It's 1997, and the NOAA is conducting acoustic monitoring off the Pacific Ocean. They've got hydrophones, basically underwater microphones, set up to detect the sounds of underwater seismic activity, like icebergs and other ocean noises. Then it happens. The hydrophones pick up a sound unlike anything they've ever recorded. It's loud, low frequency, and it travels thousands of miles through the water. Scientists nickname it the bloop, which you could kind of bloop, you could hear it.
It was a bloop.
And it became an instant sensation. And here's what's fascinating. To produce a sound of that magnitude, the source would have to be enormous, bigger than any known marine animal. We're talking about something potentially larger than a blue whale.
Yikes.
The largest creature on Earth is the blue whale, so it's got to be bigger than that. Of course, this sparks wild speculation. Was it a prehistoric sea monster, a giant squid? Or maybe it was just Cthulhu itself.
Oh, not Cthulhu.
The exact characteristics of the bloop added to its mystery. It rose rapidly in frequency, which is a trait typically associated with living creatures. But here's the twist. No creature that massive has ever been discovered, let alone one that's capable of making a sound so powerful enough to be heard across the Pacific. Over time, though, scientists began leaning towards A less monstrous explanation, the most widely accepted theory today, is that the bloop was caused by an ice quake. Essentially the sound of an enormous iceberg that's cracking and breaking apart in the water. It's a plausible explanation, but it hasn't stopped people from dreaming of something more fantastical lurking in the ocean's depths. Think about it. We've explored more of the surface of the moon than we have the bottom of our own oceans, like you said earlier. So there could be creatures down there that just defy everything we think.
Yeah, it's wild how much of Mars now is explored, and we know what Mars looks like more than what the bottom of the ocean looks like.
What do you think the bloop was? Did it sound like ice breaking apart to you? I know that was a short little sample I played, but did it sound like ice breaking? It didn't to me, but...
No, again, it would have to be bigger than a blue whale. So was that ice breaking actually bigger than a blue whale?
I don't know.
Just to have that kind of sound.
I know.
It sounded like something just ate.
Right.
Or something.
Or something sinking that was large.
Yeah.
Well, let's turn our ears to another oceanic enigma. And this one's been puzzling scientists for decades. It's called the upsweep. And that doesn't have that Hollywood level name like the bloop. But this sound is just as strange and just as enduring. So here's the background on this. In the early 1990s, the NOAA, the same folks who recorded the bloop, detected a mysterious sound coming from somewhere in the Pacific Ocean. And I don't know if you've ever been to the Pacific, Rach, but I'm not a big fan of the Pacific Ocean. Unlike the bloop, which is a one-time recorded event, upsweep is a reoccurring phenomenon. So it's been happening for years, and it's been heard consistently during certain times of the year. I'll describe it, and then I'll play it. So it's a long, drawn-out sound that rises in frequency, and that's where they get the name upsweep. It's not the sound of whales or any known marine life, and it's not tied to human activity like submarines or ships. It's entirely natural, but nobody knows exactly what's causing it. It's not going to be very dramatic, but I'm going to just play it for you. It's a little eerie. One of the most intriguing aspects of upsweep is its seasonality. The sound seems to peak in the spring and fall, and then it quiets down for the rest of the year. This regular pattern has led scientists to theorize that it might be related to volcanic activity on the seafloor. The idea is that undersea volcanoes or hydrothermal vents could be releasing gas or molten material, creating vibrations that produce that sound. But here's the thing. While volcanic activity is a solid theory, it's not confirmed. And the exact location of the sound source is a little tricky to pin down. It seems to come from somewhere in the Pacific's volcanic regions, but the ocean is so vast, and the sound has a way of carrying over incredible distances. Of course, this is where the speculation comes in. Could it be something of an unknown geological phenomenon, or maybe something alive, something massive, something we've never seen before? If we're being honest, the ocean is basically Earth's version of outer space. It's dark, it's unexplored, and it's full of things we can't begin to understand. And then there's one more twist to this mystery. While this sound is less intense now than it was when it was first discovered, it hasn't disappeared. It's still out there. It's rising and falling, kind of like an eerie underwater siren song. And kind of like the bloop, it's a humbling reminder of how much we still don't know about our planet. To me, it sounded kind of like sirens going off under there, like a warning, going off.
Yeah.
My last sound. This one to me is the haunting one. It's earned the simple but ominous nickname Julia. The story begins March 1st, 1999, when the NOAA's underwater monitoring system picked up a peculiar sound in the equatorial Pacific Ocean, again in the Pacific. Unlike some of the other strange noises from the deep, Julia was a short event, only lasting 15 seconds. But its impact has resonated for years. Here's how it sounded, and then I'm going to play it for you. It's like a low, almost moaning tone that rises in intensity before fading out. It's so loud that it was detected across the entire Pacific basin. So to put that into perspective, this means that whatever caused the sound was extraordinarily powerful and or extraordinarily massive. And I'm going to play that for you now.
That gave me chills.
Did it sound like Julie under there humming or trying to talk underwater?
Yes. How deep was this?
This was extensive and massive, very powerful and very large across the entire Pacific Basin.
Ooh.
So the scientists theorized that Julia might have been caused by, again, an iceberg running around, possibly near Antarctica. And this makes sense if you consider the characteristics of the sound. That maybe the iceberg was grinding against the seafloor.
That sounded like a voice.
That, to me, it did too. And it doesn't sit well with others either. The scale of the sound, that leads it to wilder speculations. Could it be the call of an undiscovered deep sea creature? Or perhaps something the size of a mythical leviathan? Or maybe something even more alien? A relic of the ancient oceanic past? There's lots of conspiracy theories. Some have suggested that Julia could be the evidence of underwater extraterrestrial activity or a signal from a secret deep sea base. There's no evidence, of course, that adds the intriguing layer to the mystery. Unlike reoccurring sounds like the upsweep, this was only a one-time event, so that left us with no opportunity to study it further. It's like an unsolved riddle left behind by the ocean itself, a tantalizing hint of something extraordinary that we will never really fully understand. And here's a fun thought to leave you with. If Julia was an iceberg, as most scientists believe, it would have had to been massive, like one of the largest to ever break free in the region. But if it wasn't, well, that means there was something enormous down there watching us, as curious about us as we are about it.
It makes me think too, what if it was like a soul of somebody who drowned in the ocean and it was just that powerful?
That's the feel I had.
A very famous ship that sank and has a lot of theories and history to it is the Titanic. Listeners who don't know much about the Titanic, it was a British passenger ship that sank in the North Atlantic Ocean in 1912 after striking an iceberg on its maiden voyage.
Who doesn't know about the Titanic? You must be living under a rock if you haven't even seen the 1997 movie with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Every night in my dreams.
Yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead.
So, a little history of the ship. The Titanic was the largest and most luxurious passenger ship of its time. It was built in Belfast, Ireland by Harland and Wolff and cost $7.5 million to build. The ship was 882.5 feet long and had a beam of 92.5 feet and the depth of 59.5 feet. It had 3 propellers, with the outer propellers being the largest. And on April 14th, 1912, the Titanic struck an iceberg at 11:40 p.m. while traveling from Southampton, England to New York City. The ship sank at 2:20 a.m. on April 15th, 1912, taking the lives of more than 1,500 people. The wreck of the Titanic was located in 1985 by a French and American team in 12,500 feet of water, about 350 miles southeast of Newfoundland, Canada. So, with that being said,
All the facts.
yeah, there are curses connected to the Titanic as to why that ship sank.
Now, I know that there's conspiracy theories on that too. Like, they really didn't hit an iceberg, and that I think Rockefeller or one of those big elitists had something to do with it. JP Morgan, one of them, because they wanted insurance money. It was like an insurance fraud thing.
That's something I'll have to look into. 'Cause
Yeah.
I never heard about that. Maybe for another episode.
Right.
Some of the events that are associated with the curse of the Titanic is that it's said that there was an unlucky mummy. A legend that the Titanic was carrying a cursed mummy from the British Museum to New York. The mummy was supposedly a sarcophagus of a priestess of Amun-Ra. There was construction accidents. Fires broke out in the coal bunkers during construction in Belfast. And then the number of the ship's number was 390904, was said to resemble the letters No Pope, Nopope,
Okay.
a sectarian slogan used by Protestants in Northern Ireland.
But what does that What does that mean? No pope? That there wasn't a pope at the time, or
Yeah, like something anti-Catholic, because then the other one is the Heartland and Wolff Company. The company built the ship was said to be anti-Catholic, and the ship sinking was blamed on this. So there's a lot of like anti-Catholicism.
Interesting.
And there's a lot of superstition when it comes to Catholicism.
Wow. Well, those are fascinating curses I never even heard about or knew of.
And I still think the ship itself is cursed. Look at that, what was it, that millionaire that tried to take that submarine down. And I think people who try to, I'd have to look more into it, but it's not successful really when you're going to try to look at that ship. I think it has a lot of bad energy, a lot of tragedy around it.
Good point.
I mean, 1,500 people. And, the way that they died, you watch the movie too, like they just froze, drowned.
The Titanic is very fascinating. You're right, adding to the fact that the people that try to get down there and take a look at it. Although James Cameron did get down there. He managed to get down there and go around it. But that's James Cameron. He probably had the best equipment and, wasn't going down with a...
The footage of it. I mean, looking at it now, it's really cool just seeing that ship. I couldn't imagine just being on that ship.
No, I don't think I'd want to be on that ship. If you were on that ship, would you, like in the movie, would you be scrambling to get to the very top of it as it was sinking, holding onto the railing?
I don't know.
I think I would, out of pure fear and fuel, adrenaline. I'd be trying to get up there.
Yeah, I mean, adrenaline. I'd be doing anything I possibly could.
Let's take a dive now into one of the sea's most fascinating and almost supernatural phenomena, St. Elmo's fire. Picture this. You're out on the open ocean. A storm brews overhead, and suddenly an eerie blue-violet glow begins flickering along the mast of your ship. It's almost like the sea and the sky have conspired to put on a ghostly light show. But what it is St. Elmo's fire, and it's captivated sailors for centuries. St. Elmo's fire is a weather phenomenon caused by the ionization of air. It's when the atmosphere becomes highly charged, usually during thunderstorms, and the strong electric field around sharp or pointed objects cause the surrounding air molecules to become excited, and this results in a glowing discharge of plasma. It's not fire at all, but it looks like fire. It dances, it glows tendrils of light that almost seem alive.
That's cool.
Sailors throughout history witnessed this phenomenon on ship masts and even their rigging. It wasn't even limited to the seas either. Pilots have seen it flicker across their aircraft wings, and landlubbers have spotted it on church steeples and mountaintops. Wherever there's sharp points and a charged atmosphere, the St. Elmo's fire makes its ghostly appearance. But the lore that surrounds it, named after Saint... you and I with these. Erasmus. Named after Saint Erasmus, the patron saint of sailors. Many believe the glow was a sign of divine protection during storms, a beacon of hope to guide them through treacherous seas. To others, it was ominous warning of danger to come. Imagine being a sailor in the age of wooden ships and superstitions, seeing this ethereal glow while lightning crashes and waves churn around you. It's an image that lingers even today. Now let's wander into the marshlands and the forest to explore another mysterious phenomenon that has fascinated and frightened people for centuries.
Will-o'-the-wisps.
That will-o'-the-wisps. These ghostly lights, described as faintly glowing orbs, just hover over the ground. They've inspired countless legends. But what are they? And why do they seem to lure travelers astray? Will-o'-the-wisps, sometimes called... By the way, there's a firework, I think, called that. Just so you know.
You and your fireworks.
I know. It's sometimes called ignis fatuus or foolish fire, and it appears as small, flickering lights in swamps, bogs, and other damp, remote areas. Reports describe them as faint, bluish glows that dance and float in the air. And I'm only adding this because I know it's around swamps, and swamps are wet. I know it's not the sea. I just had to add it in here, you know?
Yeah, it just fit. Felt right.
The eerie part of the will-o'-the-wisps is that when you try to follow them, they move further away, and they lead you deeper into the wild. This has been recorded in folklore worldwide. In Europe, These lights were often thought to be mischievous spirits or souls of the dead, leading travelers to danger. In English and Celtic lore, they were associated with fairies, or malevolent entities playing tricks on unweary wanderers. So they've ranged from scientific to supernatural as far as theories go. And one comes from chemistry. They think the lights might be caused by combustion gases like methane. And it forms organic matter. It decays in the swamps, and then the gases ignite on contact with oxygen. They always have to debunk it with science.
Buzzkill.
But where it gets intriguing is the sightings always occur in places without the right conditions for these chemical reactions. I don't know if it could be bioluminescent organisms or maybe something else entirely. That's something really beyond everyone's understanding.
I think it's the Fae.
Well, in Scandinavian folklore, they've tied these to the spirits of unbaptized children.
Oh.
And in South
Dirty little
America,
children.
right? And in some parts of South America, they're linked to treasure guardians, enticing people to dig in the wrong spots. And in Asia, the lights are considered harbingers of spiritual activity. Well, Rach, it's clear the natural world holds mysteries that continue to spark our curiosity, maybe even send a little chill down our spines.
A few of them.
Uh-huh. The sea, the sky, the land, they all hold secrets waiting for those bold enough to look closer. Thank you for joining us today on To the Spirit. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your fellow seekers of the strange and unexplained. If you've got a theory, a story, or a suggestion for our next deep dive, reach out. We would love to hear from you.
Absolutely.
Until next time, keep your mind open, your heart curious, and your spirit ready for adventure. This is Beck
And Rachel.
signing off. Stay safe and stay in the light.
To the spirit.
Podcast.
Supernatural science.
I'm ghost.
Psychic.
Mystic.
Spirit.
Divine source.
Heaven.
It's magic.